ओम अज्ञान ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining today. Today we have many devotees, and this is almost we are reaching towards the end. I believe there are only like 4 or 5 sessions more, and many of you have stayed right from the very beginning for all these sessions. Very grateful to all of you to give us this opportunity to serve you. So now, yesterday, Kritesh Prabhu spoke about this verse that. Bhaktya ananyaya shakya aham eva vidorjuna, that it is by bhakti alone that I am known. I cannot be known by any other process. So the context was Krishna had just shown his universal form to Arjun, and Arjun became bewildered. He was like, it was actually a special form of the universal form, also called the Kala Roop, which also had the time factor, and it was showing the death of all the soldiers. So it was very scary form. And then Krishna showed his four-handed form and then his two-handed form. And then he explained how this two-handed form is very rare because it cannot be understood by any process other than unalloyed devotional service. This two-handed form cannot be approached by karma, jnana, tapa, all of these things. It can only be approached through bhakti. So then, after this verse, the next chapter starts, in which Arjun asks that Krishna, you are saying this way that there is devotional service is perfect, but there is another category of transcendentalists also who worship the impersonal truth, right? So many of the spiritual organizations that you may have come across, they tend to describe God as some impersonal light. Bhagavan is uh, some light, or Bhagavan has no form. They make false arguments. They say that if God has a form, then you are limiting God. You are putting God in only this much space because form is limited, right? My form occupies only this much space, but God has to be unlimited, so God cannot have a form. Some weird arguments like this they put up, but actually they don't realize that if you are saying God cannot have a form, then also you are limiting him. God must have a form as well as be formless. He should combine both, and only then he is unlimited. And that is actually the understanding of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, the bhaktas are not interested so much in the only the impersonal form, because the personal form of the Lord is the highest and it is the source of the Brahma Jyoti. So anyway, there are two categories of transcendentalists. One is the personalists or the devotees, and the impersonalists. So Arjun asks that how do you compare these two? Because you just said, okay, bhakti is the highest. So then Krishna explicitly says that, see, both are good, but the path followed by the impersonalists is very, very difficult. And they eventually reach me somehow, but it is very indirect. But what happens to the devotees? That is the verse that we are going to cover today, what Krishna speaks about the devotees. It's a very beautiful purport, and it's also kind of a continuation from my last discussion with all of you on the last verse of Chatushloki. So I'll just share my screen. Yes. So the verse is like this. Ye tu sarvani karmani मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्यु संसार सागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशित चेतसाम्. So Krishna is telling, but those who worship me. So first he told about the impersonalists saying that they have a lot of tough time. But then he says, those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their mind upon me, O son of Pritha. For them, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Ye tu sarvani karmani. Those people who, what do? All of their work, sarvani karmani, mai sanyasya, they're dedicated to me. Mat para, they don't know anything other than me. They are attached to me. Anan yenaiva yogena, their bhakti yoga is pure bhakti yoga. It is completely focused on pleasing Krishna. Mam dhyayanta upasate, their mind is always fixed in me and they want to attain my service. Tesham, for such people who are described here, Aham, me personally, as Bhagavan, Samudharta, Mrityu Samsara Sagarat, I become their deliverer. Although I am the Lord of all that be and everything is under my control, but yet for that insignificant living entity also, I personally descend to liberate him from the cycle of birth and death. ब- समुद्धरता मृत्यु samsara sagarat bhavami, I become. Na chirat, very quickly also. They don't have to struggle a lot. Very quickly I deliver them. Mai aveshita chetasam, because they have their chetana, their mind is fixed on me. So that's the translation. Let us read the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is explicitly stated here that devotees are very fortunate to be delivered, very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, then he will render service to Maya. So, this is a very interesting point. Maybe let's read the whole purport. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve him. One should work only for Krishna. It's a very short statement, very powerful statement, huh? Srila Prabhupada's. One should work only for Krishna. Very simple statement, but it's, if one can just follow this one instruction, then Krishna will personally deliver you from the ocean of birth and death. It does not matter in what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. That is the standard of devotional service. The devotee does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the Battle of Kurukshetra. The process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Such transcendental chanting attracts the devotee to the personality of Godhead. Now, here one thing I just want to clarify. Sometimes we may read this kind of a sentence and forget everything that Prabhupada told before. I'll give you an example. This sentence Prabhupada is saying, the process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So what I will do, same, I'm going to whatever company I'm working at. I am working at some tobacco company or I'm working at some alcoholic beverage company. I'll devote myself in my occupation. I'll do my job very nicely. And then I will come home and chant two times Hare Krishna. And now I will surely become a lover of Krishna. No, that is not what is being told here. The word occupation itself is what has been described before. See, occupation, Prabhupada has told what he means by occupation before. One should work only for Krishna. This is the standard. What does it mean? See, you may have a variety of interests, right? In this world, people have so many interests. Some people are interested in coding. Most people are not interested in coding. By force, they have to become coders. But some people are interested in coding. Some people are interested in science, research, and people are interested in what else are they interested in? Public speaking, politics, army, sports, whatever. So many different kinds of activities are there. And what is the reason that they do these activities? They do it either they want to get some enjoyment, right? Or they do it for money. They want to get a lot of money and security in life. Or else what do? They do it for fame. IAS, generally why people want to become IAS. They get a lot of fame. How many people are there who are applying for IAS in order to serve the country? Majority of people just want to become famous. And some even lower objectives, they want to get a dowry or something, very useless objectives, right? And what else? They might do it for such reasons. But Prabhupada is explaining that a devotee does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It means he doesn't want to become famous in the world. A devotee doesn't want that everyone should clap. Kya kiya, kya kiya. All relatives sometimes tell no that if somebody is uh, not actually relatives are sometimes just envious. They just kind of want to pull a person down, and they may say that, "Arey, you became 28, huh? Oh, you have not yet got promoted. You not yet got this kind of salary. You have not yet got this kind of social status." They come and start telling, and sometimes we feel bad, right? But imagine a devotee. He doesn't want anything other than to please Krishna. When he sees people coming and telling, "You don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have that," he feels, "What is the use of all that? I feel sympathy for you that you are not able to become a servant of Krishna, right?" His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the battle of Kurukshetra. Everything means understand what is the gravity of this. When we say that he can sacrifice everything, means the world may reject him. Everybody may think he's a fool. Everybody may think he's a liar or a cheater. Everybody may think he's poor, and he may actually be very poor. But he's willing to do all of this if it means that I can render some service to Krishna and Krishna will be happy. Right? So this is what it means, that occupational service means that you do something in this world to make Krishna happy. So if I have to give one example, one of the reasons uh, I mean, yeah, this is going on YouTube, but I think I can still say one of the reasons I'm personally inspired by my counselor, His Grace Amal Mahaprabhu, is because he's like this. He has dedicated his life to serving Krishna. It's not about fame or prestige or any of these things, but he just wants to please Krishna. And that is why he's doing all this art of concentration. He's interacting, he's trying to make a revolution of Vedic thought in this world, because that is what Krishna wants. Krishna wants every human being to follow the Vedas, right? That verse will come up in the 16th chapter, you will see it. And this is what it means to be engaged in occupation, right? And like this, if you are living to please Krishna, and you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Such transcendental chanting will attract the devotee to the personality of Godhead. As you keep chanting, you will find that your affection for Krishna is increasing day by day. Right? Yes. Yeah. Now, this line also I want to elaborate on a little bit before we'll try to read this entire purport. It's a very beautiful purport. So, Prabhupada is explaining, in pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, he will render service to Maya. Now, one point to be taken here. Last time also we were discussing that what is the means of advancement in devotional service? Does anyone remember? We said Bhakti Yoga, BY, to be another type of BY also. We changed the word of B. Does anyone remember? Can use chat or ah yeah, nice. Right? We can say Bhakti Yoga is begging yoga. Why? Because the only way to advance is by Krishna's mercy. It is like if a beggar is begging and the person rich man gives the money, it is not because the beggar begged, it is because it was Krishna who gave that mercy. We are very small. We can't come out of the ocean of birth and death and get liberated on our own or anything like that. These things are not possible because we are very, very tiny. And that is what a bhakti yogi thinks. He thinks that the individual soul is subordinate. God is great. I am a very insignificant person. I'm subordinate. Right? And we can say BY is another BY also. We can say it is blessings yoga. It is you beg, beg, beg so that you get blessings. And when you get those blessings, you will advance. The blessings of devotees, the blessings of Guru, the blessings of Krishna. And therefore, he focuses mainly on rendering service. Actually, when we are in practicing bhakti, we don't need to become great. We don't have to become champions. We don't have to become, complete mind and sense control, complete knowledge, nothing. Only thing we have to do is we have to become sincere servants. In our heart, the only thing we should want is that let me please the devotees. Let me please Krishna. I want to do whatever I can so that I can please them. I just want to be a good servant. I don't want to be a great scholar. I don't want to be a great Titan sense controller. I don't want to be a yogi. I don't want to be the person who can remember, like, focus on Krishna's deity form maximum or any of these things externally. I just want to be a servant of Krishna and his devotees. I want that every moment of life I am trying to please them because I want to be a sincere servant. That is what is devotional service. And if one has this consciousness, then Krishna personally delivers him. So there was one great devotee by the name of Jayananda Prabhu. He was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and he was very dear to all the Vaishnavas and very, very advanced devotee actually. And one time, one new bhakta went to Jayanand Prabhu and asked that Prabhuji, Prabhuji, please tell me how you plan to go back to Godhead. How do you plan to go to Golok Vrindavan? You please tell me. Like what I should do to do what I should do to go there. Like that kind of question he asked, and his answer was so profound. He said, "I don't know. I am too busy serving Prabhupada. I don't have time so much to think about all these things." It's very interesting. It's a very, very illuminating answer. Actually, all these, this knowledge is good. It's not that one should not get knowledge. That's not the learning from it. But the focus of a devotee is, am I serving Guru? With every breath, with every minute of my life, am I pleasing them? These are the kind of thoughts that a devotee is worried about. So Jayanand Prabhu is thinking, am I pleasing Prabhupada? Am I serving Prabhupada? Am I doing something to make him happy? That is what he says, that this is my duty. And Maya is what happens when you don't think like that. If you don't think that, how do I please Krishna? How do I please Guru? Even for one moment, if we don't think, then automatically, Prabhupada, as he's telling, if he does not, he will render service to Maya. So this is the simple principle a bhakti yogi follows, that God is great, his devotees are great, his, Guru is great. These are wonderful. I am an insignificant small person. I just want to make them happy. I just want to serve them with every minute of my life. And then I will be free from Maya. And Krishna will personally come and take me back. I don't need to make any plans because I have faith in Krishna. I depend on Krishna. This dependence on Krishna is what is called Sharanagati. And this Sharanagati is called Bhakti, Bhaktera Prana. It is actually the life force of our bhakti. And that is what further actually Prabhupada has described, that he is a devotee only works for Krishna because I'm a servant of Krishna. I just want to please Krishna. I don't want to do anything else. I don't desire anything other than pleasing Krishna. My life's mission is that somehow or other Krishna should be happy. And I can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction. In fact, a devotee doesn't even feel it like a sacrifice. The six Goswamis of Vrindavan, so they were very, I briefly mentioned them before also, but they were these highly liberated personalities. So at some point, they were working as ministers, say Roop Sanatan Goswamis, they were working as ministers in the palace of the Nawab Hussain Shah of Bengal. Due to some circumstance, they were forced, they were being kind of blackmailed to work as ministers. And they were fabulously wealthy, actually. They had huge tracts of land and huge, everyone respected them, so much money, everything they had. And when they realized that, what they were always having that thing that, yeah, why am I serving in this horrible way? Because I'm not able to please Krishna. At a certain point in life, they just said that, okay, enough is enough. I am going to surrender to my spiritual master. So their spiritual master was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who we talked about briefly last time. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them that they can go to Vrindavan, and he gave them a list of services. And they immediately left all of their extreme riches. Think like Anant Ambani. This is the kind of money we are talking. You know, Anant Ambani, who just got married for a period of 2 months, I think. I don't know. He was getting married continuously. That kind of wealth. And Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami had that kind of wealth. And they left all of that and went to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, what did they have? They had nothing with them. They had one Popin, which is like a Babaji's underwear, and on top of that they had a cloth, and that's it. They had one lota, and they had their for whatever devotional paraphernalia they had. They didn't have any house, they didn't have any money, they didn't have any shoes. Every night they would sleep under a different tree. Can you imagine Anant Ambani living like that? He's going and sleeping under every tree. They sacrificed so much. And then when people would ask them, Ki, how did you give up so much? They said, what did we give up? You are the ones who have given up Krishna, and you are sitting with all your useless material things. Krishna is like diamond. You are sitting with broken pieces of glass. You are the one who is more renounced. I am not renounced anything. I am not renounced. I am just a servant. That is the way the Goswamis would think, right? So a devotee can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction. So if one has this mood, no, so right now it seems very high, and even Krishna in the next verses he actually says, okay, if you do this, it is best. If you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. He says like that. So I am just illustrating this consciousness. At least it is, if it is there in our minds, and we feel ki, wow, yeah, this is nice. One day in my life I want this. If that feeling enters in our heart, then that is success actually, because gradually by associating with devotees we will surely reach there. So let's read on. The Supreme Lord herein promises that without delay he will deliver a pure devotee thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process, and others take opportunity in various ways. But as far as the devotee is concerned, it is clearly stated that the Lord Himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. In the Varaha Puran, this verse appears. Not reading this. The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord Himself. So the devotee lives for Krishna, and the Krishna does whatever the devotee needs for his spiritual upliftment. This is the loving relationship of dependence and protection between the devotee and Krishna. In the other yoga systems, there is no sharanagati. The practitioners don't depend on Krishna. They try to develop the abilities by which they can go to the spiritual world. But a bhakta leaves it to Krishna and just becomes a servant. He clearly states here that he himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by his great mercy, Anukampa, Tesham Anukampartham, Aham Ajnanajam Tama, we read this. By his great mercy, comes at once, riding on his bird carrier Garuda, and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. Although a man who has fallen to the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from this material existence. One simply has to practice the easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotional service to all other paths. In the Narayaniya, this is confirmed as follows. The purport of this verse is that one should not engage in the different processes of fruitive activity or cultivation of knowledge by the material speculative process. One who is devoted to Supreme Lord can attain all the benefits derived from other yogic processes, speculation, ritual, sacrifice, charities, etc. That is the specific benediction of devotional service. Simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A devotee of the Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily, but this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion, right? So it's very wonderful. Krishna personally takes charge. And all the devotee does is he tries to become a sincere servant. He doesn't want to do anything other than be a servant. He doesn't want to serve Maya. He only wants to serve Krishna. And he chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The wonderful thing also is that in one sense, you know, one can do this immediately also because one just has to become sincere. And after that, Krishna helps deliver the person. One just has to become sincere that, my dear Krishna, I accept that I am your servant and I'm insignificant. I'm struggling in this material world, which is not my home. I just am meant to please you, and please accept me. I want to please you. Let me be always engaged in your service. And he strives very hard that, let me not forget Krishna. Let me only try to please Krishna. He may have slip ups, but Krishna helps a lot. So yeah, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is stated in the 18th chapter. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma suchaha. One should give up all of the processes of self-realization and simply execute devotional service in Krishna consciousness. That will enable one to reach the highest perfection of life. There is no need to consider for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life because the Supreme Lord fully takes charge. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in spiritual realization. Let everyone take shelter of the supreme omnipotent Godhead Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. Powerful purport. And now I just want to also show you a little bit. So after this verse, you will read 12.13, 14. And after that, directly you go to chapter 14. Let me just bridge these few verses for you. So after telling this to Arjun, Krishna tells that since I personally deliver a devotee who's fully fixed in me, so you just fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. You will live always in me without a doubt. So then Arjun thinks ये तो मुश्किल है बाबा, मतलब माना यही बेस्ट है, but नहीं हो पा रहा तो क्या करें? So then Krishna says, my dear Arjun, if you cannot fix your mind upon me with deviation, then don't worry. Follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So this is what we strive to do. That whatever instructions are being given by the devotee and by the Shastras, we strictly try to follow them. We accept the favorable, we reject the unfavorable. For example, what is favorable? Chanting of Hare Krishna is favorable. That's why Prabhupada says 16 rounds minimum. If one doesn't chant 16 rounds, then at any point one can fall down to Maya. And there are statements like 99% of one's spiritual advancement depends on how one chants Hare Krishna. So one takes the chanting of Hare Krishna very sincerely. Then what other is there regulated? One takes only prasad. One associates with devotees as much as possible. One hears or reads from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, like all of you, daily. These are regulations we follow because we tell Krishna that, my dear Krishna, I'm not able to fix my mind on you like you described. I want to, but I'm not able to. So, in order to get the ability to do that, I will do a daily practice. I will render service to you, right, under the guidance of devotees. And in this way, the heart becomes cleansed, it becomes purified, and then the desire to attain Krishna becomes very strong. And then one can go to the next level. And Krishna says further also, if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. And further, if however you are unable to work also in consciousness, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So an example one can take is that uh, 10th verse could be like where you actively take up responsibilities and services for Krishna. For example, one of the services that we have is to like the art of concentration registrations, right, for the next batch. Now, in the next batch, in the January batch, it is going to be a charity batch. Whatever registrations are there is going to go for the construction of a temple hall for Radha and Krishna. The entire money. So this is like very directly devotional service. So when you take responsibility and spend time to do that, it is working for Krishna. Next case is, okay, you're not working for Krishna. For example, you're going to a software company and you earn money. You're not working for Krishna, you're working for yourself. But some of that money you give as donation. You act giving up all results. Actually, Krishna is telling all results, but I'm just trying to make it practical. Actually, we are following somewhere in the 12th level. This is referring to a well-situated Jnani or Nishkam Karma Yogi. But if we want to take a practical example, then we can say this, that like suppose somebody gives some donation from whatever money he earns. So that is also better. You start doing that. You keep doing that gradually. You spend some money for Krishna. Then you start to want to do things for Krishna. Then you actually render service. And then you render service. Then you get strength to do sadhana. That means you chant attentively. You read Bhagavad Gita every day with a desire to attain Krishna. And then gradually you'll advance to a level where you are purified and now your heart is longing for Krishna. And then at that time, you can fix your mind completely in Krishna. And then Krishna will surely deliver you. And that is why Krishna says that a bhakti yogi is superior, ultimately because I help him. For the other yogas, he is on his own. For the bhakta, I am with him, I am there to help him in his spiritual journey. Okay, so that is the discussion for today. Are there any questions, comments, or thoughts? I'm sorry if it was a little technical, uh, but I hope it helped you get some inspiration to increase your longing for Krishna. Actually, there is nothing better than uh, the state which Krishna described, no? That to only work for Krishna and to not desire any achievement other than to please Krishna. This is very sweet state. It is not a scary state. Sometimes we think that अरे सब छोड़ के भगवान के लिए करेंगे तो मेरा क्या होगा रे कालिया. We worry like that. But actually, Bhagavatam says it's the reverse. Whatever things we have, we think we have this money, money will protect me, or my parents will protect me, or my relatives will protect me. Bhagavatam in the second canto itself smashes all of this. It says, Atma Sainesh Asat Sapi. These are fallible soldiers. At any time, they only can die at any time. Your money can end at any time. Suddenly, there will be an economic collapse. Banks will say, sorry, we don't have your money. In 2008, that's what happened, right? Hard earned money of all the people they put in the bank and the housing market collapsed and suddenly they don't have money. Where it went, I don't know. I just don't have it anymore. Right? Money is not the thing. Our families, relationships and all, at that at the time of death, who's there to help? Nobody is there. So the only real shelter is Krishna. And when we learn to depend on Krishna, we feel Krishna's presence also because Krishna is there. Even your boss who we are working for, that boss also has money only because Krishna has given him. So why Krishna cannot protect you directly, right? So all of these things are there. So actually we need not get afraid of devotional service and the higher stages of devotional service. We should feel excited for it. Yeah, sorry. Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you, Prabhus. So whatever I have shared is hope it is helpful to you and hope it is pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. All of this is by the mercy of Prabhupada. I am not at the level of what I am speaking, but I'm trying to represent what Prabhupada is teaching. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.